Welcome to the Friends of Friends podcast. Here are your hosts, Henry Hargitay and Jason Cole.
You know, one of these days you got to make a rap to that opening part. You always told me you could rap, but I've never once heard you rap in my life. And if you could
left
just
that up to G, man. G got the bars. I really can't do it. I'm an ad-lib type of guy, though. Definitely get in.
So you never once considered just like hitting this opening beat with a little.
For sure. I don't think the people are ready for that. They just accepted me as, this guy, anchor. So
They think of you as the guy in the tie. Everybody in the 3-1-3. You're gonna come in like
put your motherfucking hands up. What? I gotta play. Yo, did you see that on TikTok? That game, the comedian he played. He's at the edge of the pool, and he has them sitting in a chair. He sings a song, and then he stops, and they gotta finish the rest of the lyrics of the song. And if they get it wrong, he dumps your ass in the pool in the chair. Shit was hilarious.
And they did that song, everybody in the 3-1-3.
Nah, they didn't do that song. That's just what it made me think of. But listen, let's get right into it. Be a friend of a friend. Hit that button. Subscribe, like, follow. Do everything you've been doing because we've been getting a lot of traction, and we appreciate everybody that's been doing that. Now, Mr. Henry Hargitay, I have a question for you.
Let's hear it.
So, I want to know what you think the NBA would be like at its best, right? Now, if it's at its best, that means players are playing for the organization and a coach that you think they should be playing for based on what you've seen already from that player and that coach. Now, there are some, we just had breaking news. Quinn Snyder stepped down from Utah. So there will be some changes, but I have some players that I would like to give you, and you tell me where they would be best.
I love it. All right, let's do it because for the most part, I've always been a fan of players leaving teams, and I was never into the whole,
loyalty shit.
Yeah, to an extent. Like I think you should give your team your best. I don't always love what Zion's doing right now, but I think Damian Lillard is like loyal to a fault, and I think that's hurting his career. So I'm very pro like players leaving. But anyway, go ahead. Who you got first?
Got it. First, and not because we just got breaking news, but Mr. Spider Mitchell, Mr. Donovan Mitchell,
so
Dobbs Ferry.
So organizations always tell you what's going on, right? Like these things don't happen for no reason, and Quinn Snyder stepping down to me is just the obvious sign that he thinks what we all think, and that's that Utah Jazz team as it's constructed right now has sort of just topped out. They already let go of Mr. Strap with that lefty stroke, Joe Ingles, one of the cleanest, most underrated shots in the game. Maestro in the pick and roll. They traded into Portland for I don't think that much. Right. Head coach steps down. I'm not a fan of blowing up good teams, but I just think they probably feel, and I think a lot of people feel like that's just what that team is. Like that's what they are.
Where would you place Donovan Mitchell?
Which leads me to my point. Donovan Mitchell ends up a New York Knick. I don't think the Knicks necessarily have the assets to trade for him, but
so playing for Tom Thibodeau.
If Utah's going sell mode, yeah. I mean, the Knicks would be silly to not at least make an offer. And I think it's a great fit. I think he responds well to a coach like that. He was a Pitino guy, needs that discipline, kind of like that old school mentality, and he's from New York. I don't think New York's a terrible fit for Donovan Mitchell. I think it's actually a really good fit. And I think it'd be very good for the league if Donovan Mitchell played for the Knicks.
Got it. Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid, I think, needs to stay right where he is. I think that's like the perfect scenario for him. He's one of the few guys where I think being loyal throughout the rest of his career would benefit him the most.
Because people will come to play with him in Philly rather than him.
Exactly.
Okay.
There's always going to be a good guard who wants to go to Philly. Case in point, James Harden. But anyway, your next one. Let's hear it. Embiid
Got
stays.
it. Bradley Beal.
Okay, Bradley Beal. Hear me out. Toronto Raptors. I think if you put him on the Raptors, that gives them that extra elite backcourt shooting mate that they don't have right now. Fred VanVleet is a fucking killer.
Yes, he is.
But they were kind of missing that.
Nice.
They were kind of missing like Pascal. I love Pascal Siakam, but like he's a killer, but he's not gifted offensively enough to be that type of killer that Bradley Beal is. If you add him to that team, the Raptors, they were good this year. I think they just had a tough matchup in the playoffs. And did they get swept? I don't even know if they won a game.
They did win a game.
They won a game? Regardless, if they have Bradley Beal, they probably don't have to match up with someone like Philadelphia in the first round.
Or maybe they didn't win a game. I'm not even sure.
I can't. Doesn't matter. But Bradley Beal and that team makes them really exciting.
Okay, what number was that? 3?
That was number 3.
Number 4 is De'Aaron Fox.
Man, all right. I got one. I don't know how great it would look.
Just 22 points a game, 3 assists, 3 rebounds.
Yeah.
Like he's a dog. So
he's good. The place I would love to see him the most, Milwaukee Bucks. You put his.
So you take Drew Holiday out of there, or
keep
Drew.
You keep Drew Holiday. Just let him play off the ball.
Okay, but
he doesn't need the ball in his hands. He doesn't need the ball in his hands.
Who are you giving up? You can't.
I don't know. DiVincenzo.
He's not there anymore.
Oh, sorry, the other white, Connaughton.
Pat Connaughton from Notre Dame. He could go play baseball. Right. You know he's super nice. He can do whatever he wants. I like Pat Connaughton. He's really
good.
I love Pat Connaughton for sure.
Yeah, but like you would trade him for De'Aaron Fox. I mean, not that you'd get that offer, but you know what I mean. Anyway, next one. That's where I'd like to see him.
Wow.
Milwaukee.
Buddy Hield.
Who cares? Sacramento. Is that where he is right now? Where is he?
Wow.
I don't even know where he is right now.
Wow, that's disrespectful.
What has he done?
We're going to move on because you just disrespected Buddy Hield.
What is
Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving. Hang on. I'll give you my Kyrie answer because I think I have a good one. But go back to what has Buddy
Hield was in Indiana. I'm just saying he's a sniper and he's proved that he can shoot. I'm just saying players have great years based on who they're teamed up with, and you know that. Sure. It just takes one season. So if he's alongside someone else, his numbers are gonna go up. You know, because they. All right,
then you know where I want him.
Let's just say if he was in LA, you think he couldn't fit the role to catch and shoot in LA with all the attention that Braun gets?
You know where I think he'd be better?
Where?
Denver.
Okay. Listen, this is your answer, so I want to hear it. Mr. Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving, I think, belongs in LA with the Clippers. Reunite him with Tyronn Lue, someone who he had his best number. I don't know if they were the best numbers, but it was the best basketball he ever played. Was that season with LeBron, obviously, where they won the title. And Tyronn Lue was the coach. I think he weirdly fits in with that team because it seems like on a team of stars, they stay out of the spotlight. And I just feel like that's a better fit for Kyrie. Even though he's already on the little brother team in New York, yes, it's the Brooklyn Nets are still the little brother team. They're better, but they're still the little brother team. And the Knicks
didn't make the playoffs, but the Nets did. But they're
talking
the little brother. Okay.
In terms of importance to the league.
Okay.
That's all.
True story.
People in Brooklyn doesn't have fans. But what was my point? I think the Clippers and Kyrie Irving are a match made in heaven.
Wow, that's a big listen, I kind of like that.
Yeah. Listen, you don't ask me these questions for no reason. You know you get nothing but the truth.
Listen, I kind of like that. Who? You know, it's hard to say this one because people forget about him. But, you know, he's still going to be stuck. But do you think Jamal Murray stays in Denver and that's the home he should just stay put?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, because it feels like they've always just been one piece away. And it's not impossible to get someone to go to Denver to play with those guys. The question is, who is the piece and how soon can you get him while that window is still open?
Got it.
You know who the piece would have been? And it's easy to say this. Jimmy Butler would have been. They need that type of guy. Because what Denver is right now, and I love fucking watching those guys play. They're so fun to watch. They might be one of the most entertaining teams in the league.
I do like watching Denver.
But they're a team of nice guys. They don't have that killer. You know, they got a bunch of guys who can score a lot of points, hit clutch shots. But they don't have anyone who's really that, who's that killer.
That guy. Got you.
And I'm not saying Jokic isn't that guy, but because he's a center, it just makes him harder to be that guy.
That's what you said about Embiid too.
Yeah, and Jamal Murray's great, but it's like he hasn't been healthy, sadly, for the past year. We haven't seen him.
Right.
Really, year and a half.
Mr. DeMar DeRozan.
DeMar DeRozan, I think
he's a 40 ball man. I mean, he showed that.
Yeah, and did it matter?
I'm just saying, listen, Mr. DeMar DeRozan.
There's certain guys who have just been great scorers everywhere they've gone, and that's it. You're just a great scorer. Melo is like that. DeRozan's just a great scorer.
So where do you see him best?
Staying in Chicago.
With Zach LaVine, or
I think LaVine ends up leaving. I'd like to see LaVine at a different place, which maybe that was one of the guys you had on your list.
I should have said LaVine instead of DeRozan. So tell me, where do you see LaVine best?
Dallas. Yeah, enough of the Tim Hardaway nonsense.
He's not enough. He would have helped Dallas though this series for sure.
Him on Dallas would have been fun to watch, I think.
Wow.
Super athlete, good shooter, doesn't, need the ball. Like, he plays off the ball nicely because he can play above the rim. He's athletic. I think that'd be a good fit. And it'd be really fun to watch. Because I'm also, these are my answers, so I'm going what I think would be fun to watch. What would make me want to watch regular season NBA more? Because I'll be the first to admit it. NBA regular season for me became so boring.
Right. Got it. Okay, well, last but not least, DeAndre Ayton.
See, I think he stays right in Phoenix. Another one. I know that's kind of a boring answer, but DeAndre Ayton's really good, but like, he's going to do that wherever he goes. Like, if you put him on Golden State, he's doing exactly what he does on Phoenix. If you put him on the Knicks, he takes Mitchell Robinson's role and he's like doing that exact same thing, but better. Like, you're only going to get,
because Mitchell Robinson be rebounding and blocking a lot of shots.
DeAndre Ayton gets rebounds,
but not like that.
But he's way better offensively. So
for sure, we're gonna give him that edge.
My point is, it's like, how much better does he make your team? And he doesn't make your team worse, but like, he's not the type of guy who takes you to that next level. DeAndre Ayton.
True story.
Is he? I don't know.
As a center, I mean, they're hard to come by. He can knock the shot down.
He's just the perfect complement. He's the perfect complement to a great guard.
Okay.
And is a really willing passer. So when he's on a team with shooters.
Well put.
It sounds
there
like
goes your new NBA for next year, guys.
Yeah.
And ladies.
The Henry Dream NBA.
Thanks for checking out the Friends of Friends podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend.